welcome to yet another episode of Pet Pals. I'm Bethany Davidson, the Humane Educator here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. Animal wrangling for us on our all-dog show once again today is Sean Snyder, our volunteer coordinator. And our first dog is one of many huskies we have on the floor. Usually animals come in spurts where we're just like, we have too many beagles right now or too many Yorkies. And right now we have quite a few huskies on the floor. And Arctic is our all-white husky. She's about 2 years old, and she's a little bit nervous. We have our very gregarious huskies like Fang and Husky, and then we have, and Jubilee as well, and then we have Arctic and Atlas, who are a little bit more reserved. My favorite feature about her is not her blue eyes or any of those normal husky things. It's her little mustache. She does have just the tiniest bit of black on her, and she has a little black mustache, and it's super cute. But she is definitely leery of new environments, new places, definitely taking some time to settle in. So any potential adopters need to keep that in mind, that she is still learning that new people, new places, new things are good, really reinforcing that with, some verbal praise, some nice tasty treats. She is less nervous than the dog that she came in with, Atlas. They did come in together. They do enjoy playing together, but we're not adopting them out together because he's very protective of her and is not as friendly to people when she's around. Because he want to make sure that she's nice and safe. But she's been very friendly. She plays really well with him, and we haven't seen any issues with her and other dogs. So if you have an existing dog, not only would she do well in that environment, but it also might help her be more confident as well.
Arctic appears to be shaved at some point. Is it a good idea to shave your Siberian Husky?
No. So you do not want to shave your huskies. It's really important that they maintain that natural coat length and that double coat for insulation and regulating their body temperature. You might say, oh, well, it's in the winter, they need that in the winter, but in the summer, not so much. That's not true. They're bred to have that coat, and that's how they maintain things. It also prevents them from getting sunburnt and things like that. So you don't want to shave them, but you do want to make sure that they're getting groomed in that you're brushing them regularly. They're getting their blowouts. Husky right now is our big one who's blowing his coat, and there's Husky fur everywhere. So they do need grooming maintenance, but shaving them is not going to be appropriate. We did not shave her here. She came in that way. The only thing we've shaved on her is her abdomen because she was recently spayed. If your vet is telling you that you need to shave a part of your husky, you're doing it under their medical advice because maybe there's a hot spot or a mat or something that's totally different. But just because you think that, that's going to help maintain their coats better or whatever, that's not a safe and healthy decision that you want to make for your husky. But if you think that you are the right home to, help Arctic here blossom and learn that the world is a great and wonderful place, you can go to visit fcac.as.me to book your appointment to meet her and start that adoption process. Our next guest is Taz, and if you're a frequent watcher of the show, you have seen him before. Taz is now one of our longest residents. He's been with us since August. So he is a dog that we know very well at this point, and it's hard to understand why he hasn't found a forever home because he is a very friendly, very playful, kind of fun-loving dog. He does need some consistency with his basic manners. His biggest thing is that he likes to jump, and it's because he's short and he wants to be close to you, and so he's jumping up to get you, but he has a really, really, really good sit. So if you ask him to sit, he will sit. He's very muscular and he's very strong. So we've been working with him on that polite leash walking. And what we found is if you give him an opportunity to kind of run off some of his yayas, get those zoomies out, he actually walks really nicely on a leash after that. He just, in this type of an environment, might not always get out as often as he maybe needs to. So He's really excited when he first gets out. And then once you start walking, he really settles in and is much better about those leash manners. One of the things about Taz is he doesn't seem to love the company of other dogs. He's not one that we're necessarily recommending be a second or third dog in a household. But if you're looking for a dog that you can kind of take out and take him on a run with you, or take him on a hike, have him play and, fetch with the kids in the backyard, he is a dog that kind of fits in with that description. He's been doing, very well with here, and there are a lot of staff and volunteers who really enjoy spending time with him. Typically, we walk him on a harness, and he's great about getting his harness on, things like that. But again, just overall, just really excited to see people. So he does take some time to kind of relax into things a little bit.
So recently, we changed his age recommendation pertaining to children. So what's the new age recommendation? Why did we do that?
So previously we had Taz listed as no small children, and right now we have removed any age recommendations, saying that we think he will be fine with children of any age, because he's not shown us in any of his interactions of people walking by, things like that, that he can't live in a home with children. A lot of times when dogs are jumpy and energetic, we'll sometimes say no small children just because we're afraid that maybe the dog will knock over a child. But that's really ultimately up to a parent's discretion to decide if that's something that they're willing to work with and teach their kids about and teach their dog about. And we don't want to keep him from finding a good home just because there might be some younger kids in the household. So we did change that because he hasn't shown us that there's a reason to keep that. We have encouraged people to work with him on the Say Please program, which is basically, having him do what he's doing right now. Anytime he wants something, having him sit before you put his harness on, having him sit before you go outside, having him sit before you give him a toy, give him a treat, put his food bowl down, so that's going to help him learn that the way to get what he wants is to sit instead of doing the jumping behavior that he's been doing. And then you can progress with how long he has to sit before he gets things, because that's going to help him with impulse control. And it's a very simple task, a very simple behavior to teach, especially since he already has that kind of bulletproof sit down. So that's why we've changed those. And he's not the only dog that has seen some of those changes to age restrictions. We've updated a lot of dogs as well as some other cats. So if you were looking at an animal before but maybe thought that it wasn't a good fit for your family, you might check them out again and see if those are the dogs that have had some of those updates. But if you think that you're the family to give our longtime resident Taz here a forever home, you can go to visit fcac.as.me to begin that process. Our next dog is Zarko. He is one of our larger dogs at just under 75 pounds. So he's a big boy. And he's kind of the quintessential dumb jock, like, if I'm being honest, right? Like, he's really strong, he's really muscular, definitely athletic, really good looking, probably not getting super high scores on his SAT if this were a high school buddy movie or something. He has a great coat. We just have him down as, I think, just blue and white, but he has kind of a merle coat to him. So that's a very unique look, not super common on pit bull type dogs. But a very beautiful coat, and just gorgeous eyes. He's just a beautiful dog that does need some training, just some basic manners training. Really working with him on polite leash walking and just being familiar with his body space. He doesn't necessarily recognize that he's a big dog. He's not aggressive in any way. He just thinks that he's really small. And is not aware of his how much space he takes up. He's very friendly, just kind of a big goober, and still a really young dog. We've estimated his age to be about a year old. Playful, but definitely making sure that, in terms of your personal strength, that you're able to handle him. He would be better suited on a harness. So getting him on a harness for leash walks and things like that. Haven't seen any issues with other dogs. He play bows to them. He tries to engage with them. He enjoys pets, but sometimes can be a little overstimulated with some petting. But gives up objects, not anything super crazy, just mostly that he's really big. And because he's not, the smartest dog that we have here in our facility, it might take a little bit more time to work with him on those good manners, really figuring out what his favorite treat is, getting that super high value treat so that he wants to work for you and things like that. But super nice dog, just needs to work on those basics like most of the dogs here in this facility.
So Zarko is named after one of his best features. What's that feature?
That's going to be his eyes. So if you look up Zarko, if you do a Google, in Spanish and Portuguese, it means light blue, which is the color of his eyes. And it's specifically a nickname in those cultures for people with light blue eyes. So it's specifically about his eyes. So that's his name. And it does suit him a little bit, although he has many nicknames amongst the kennel staff. I think some people call him Frank, as in Frank Sinatra. So he has a lot of names, but he's ready for whatever name you want to give him, because he doesn't really answer to any of them at this point. So whatever you want to call him as you make him part of your family, he's going to be ready for. If you want to make that appointment to meet with him, you're going to need to go to visitfcac.as.me to book that appointment. Our next guest is one of our younger available adoptable dogs. This is Jules. She's about 7 months old. We have her down as a Nikita mix, and on social media, everybody's saying, well, she doesn't look like that. Well, we're judging that based on, she did come in with another dog who very much looked like a Nikita mix. They were the same age, so we were assuming that they are litter mates of some kind. The other dog is no longer at this facility, but that's where we were getting that breed choice for her. She is one of our Shire dogs, but she's slowly learning that humans are a good thing. She's starting to come around. She wants to be near humans. She's just not quite sure if she wants you to touch her and engage with her. She will follow you around. She's very curious. We think that Jules might do better in a home with another dog, because a lot of times with our Shire dogs, if you put them in a home with an established, confident dog that's dog friendly, it helps boost their confidence. They can kind of take the lead from that other dog and be like, oh, this dog is saying that these humans are good and that I should interact with them. So if I trust this dog and we're friends, then maybe these people are okay too. So, that might be something that's very beneficial for her. She has done well with other dogs here. We haven't had any issues with her. She reacts favorably to them. We do have quite a few dogs that are in her age range. We have considered putting them all in kind of a puppy play group. But she was recently spayed not that long ago. So we have to wait for that kind of to heal up before she's able to really do that. So we're looking for a family that has dog experience for Jules, so that they can work with her on, building her confidence, understanding the basics of puppy socialization. She needs to be house trained, all of those things. But we are looking for families with teens for her. Actually, I think she was one of the ones that just got changed. So it might be no small children. So just, kids that are a little bit older and can understand, not necessarily teens and adults at this point. We have started to figure out she's still learning touch. So she's not backing away from Sean as he's petting her right now, but she's not as comfortable because she's still learning that petting and things like that are a good thing. So definitely somebody that's going to be very calm and relaxed with her and not really pressure her to be more confident than at a rate that she's ready for.
So staff and volunteers have noticed a behavior of Jules that a potential adopter needs to be aware of. What's that behavior? So
she seems to be more comfortable inside at this point, and when she's outside, she's constantly looking for an escape. Like, where can I kind of dart off to? So for that reason, we wouldn't walk her on a standard slip lead all the time outside, because she might potentially be able to break free of that if she's pulling out, or even when they're really hesitant and they can back out, not so much pull out. A harness, the same type of thing. So for a dog like Jules, who's not quite comfortable and maybe trying to run off, a martingale is actually the better option, because if they're pulling forward or if they're backing out, that martingale is going to pull a little tighter. Not to hurt them, but just to keep from slipping off over their head. So it can be a safer option for those types of animals. Even just in our play yards and things like that, we've been thinking about, martingale in a long line, so that we know that we're not going to have her potentially run off on us. So As she gets more comfortable and confident, those things can dissipate. We've seen it here with other dogs, but right now that's a good thing to be aware of. I wouldn't take her on any long hikes in the woods until she's feeling more comfortable and confident, just for her safety and things like that. But if you think that you're the right fit to help her build her confidence, you can go to visit fcac.as.me to book an appointment to meet her. Our next guests are a pair, as you can see. They are a little bit of an odd couple, but they work well together, right? So the larger dog is Bones, and he's a 1-year-old Great Pyrenees mix. And the smaller one is Kirk. He's a 7-month-old Pit Bull type Terrier mix. They were found together running astray, and they're like best friends. Whether they lived together before they ran off or they took off and they found each other, and were immediately best friends, it's hard to tell. But they are listed as better together, which means that we are looking to get them into a home together. They love to play. Oftentimes you'll hear like crazy loud noises and bowls clanging, and you're like, it's just Bones and Kirk playing. They love to play together. They are very dog friendly with each other. With other dogs, Bones can be a little hit or miss sometimes. There are some things to know about the two of them. So with Bones, he's super friendly, very gregarious, but he is very intense about his food. He loves his food, doesn't always want to share his food with his friend. So we do separate them for eating. Even if you're trying to give him treats, Bones will try to steal Kirk's treats, like, just doing big brother, little brother stuff, I guess. And when you're looking at Kirk, he is a little bit small for his age. We think that's due just to like poor nutrition and basically care. He's a little flat-footed, which can sometimes come from, being crated for long periods of time. You can see like the fur on him in certain parts is a little bit off color, off white. That's from, generally being left in a crate. And that's not clean. So he hasn't necessarily had the best care before coming to this facility. We're getting him up on his weight and things like that. So it's important to kind of read the medicals so that you are aware of everything that's going on with both of them. If you were to take them both, they are, again, like super good friends. They're going to do really well together and not really have any acclimation issues.
So like you said, we have them listed as better together. How's that differ from them being bonded?
So they do enjoy each other's company. They seem to do really well together. But when you separate them, they do not seem like overly distraught. Bones in particular, we think will do fine alone. It's more, Kirk that seems to need another dog. So even if they don't get adopted together, we do think that Kirk should go to a home like Jules with an established dog to help him build his confidence and things like that. So that, he's going to be more comfortable, learn that humans are a safe, good thing to have around. They do seem to be more affectionate as well when they're together. They want to cuddle, things like that when they're separate, they don't necessarily want to do. So, we are looking for a home for them together, but we do understand that it might be difficult to rehome them together. So those are the kind of conditions we're looking for. Bones will be completely fine as a single dog, but Kirk really does need some sort of canine friend to help him feel comfortable. If you're interested in adopting them together or one or the other, please go to visit fcac.as.me to find adoptable dog applications, as well as to book those appointments to meet with them. Our next guest is really comfortable in this room because he lives in this room. This is Giblet, and he is also a dog that's been with us before. He was adopted out last year around Thanksgiving, Christmas time as a young puppy, but now he's back with us again this year as about a year and a half old at this point. And unfortunately, Giblet was very loved by his family, but some medical things really prevented them from being able to afford having him in the home anymore. So they brought him back here to us so that we could rehome him. And Giblet is a great dog in a house. He is kind of that mix of what everybody assumes a pit bull type dog is. Like Zoomies, runs around, plays, and then he's like, couch. let's just snuggle and hang out here and do nothing. So he is that good mix. He is very, very dog friendly. He's done well with cats, based on experience from his previous owner, as well as many foster homes that he's been in. But he is a dog that does not do well in the shelter environment. It is super stressful for him. And he just doesn't matter how much medication you put him on, it's just too much for him. So we are looking to get him into a permanent forever home or a foster home, especially with some upcoming changes to our facility. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely reach out. Even if you're not looking to adopt, you're just looking to foster. We have a super dog-friendly, cat-friendly dog who needs a foster placement. He's definitely a heavy chewer. He loves to chew on his toys, but not, it just depends on his mood. Some days he'll have a toy for weeks, and other days it lasts 10 minutes. Just hard to tell. He listens very well in terms of, leave it or go into your bed. He takes treats pretty nicely. He has a lot of really good qualities, but when he's stressed, he does like to chew on his leash. His leash is like his little, emotional support blanket. He'll just pick up a leash and carry it around in his mouth and take it to his bed. So that's something that we've been working with him on. And he does do better on a harness than he does on the standard leashes that we typically use here in this facility.
Most viewers will probably be able to see that there's something going on with his rear legs.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little more about that?
So he has issues with both of his legs. One of his legs has a grade 4 out of 4 luxating patella. Also, he has issues with his just overall conformation. He's bow-legged. He was recently at the vet, where we got, detailed diagnostics done on that. He got multiple x-rays, which he went through as like a champ. He didn't have to be sedated. He got like 7 x-rays with just a little bit of spray cheese to keep him still. So he is a really well-behaved dog. Surgical options are in the, $15,000 range for him. And we don't necessarily know that that's going to be his best option. Right now we're thinking that it might be better for Giblet just to be on, some joint supplements and things like that and just be the way that he is, because it doesn't stop him from doing anything. He goes out and runs around. He jumps up on these chairs. He plays with other dogs. He goes up and down steps. None of it seems to slow him down. Ultimately, his level of comfort in his elder years might not be as well. So his life expectancy might be a little bit shorter than some other dogs of his breed and size. But we think that right now, keeping Giblet, happy the way that he is going to be the best bet. Again, doesn't really affect him. And he's been doing really great in homes with children of a variety of ages, things like that. So if you are interested in giving Giblet either a temporary or a permanent home, you can go to visit fcac.as.me to book an appointment to meet with him. If you're interested in fostering, there is an application for that is different than our adoption application. So you can email animal control at frederickcountymd.gov to get more information about that. And before we close our show today, we want to make sure that people are aware that this is going to be our last show in the traditional format. If you follow us, you may be aware that we have been waiting for quite some time for a long-awaited building renovation, and that is going to be starting soon. So we're going to be losing this space to be able to shoot our show, and we're going to be losing a lot of other spaces as we're undergoing those renovations for the next year and a half or so. So we'll be bringing you the show, but it'll be in a slightly different format, and those things may change as we go through our building phases. So bear with us, but we'll continue to bring you information on all of our adoptable animals as we can as we move forward through this process. We thank you for watching, and we hope that you will continue to support Frederick County Animal Control.